Let me talk about Bolivia. What we are doing right now, the government of Mr. Morales is doing now. We just nationalized our hydrocarbon reserves in order that most of the incomes will go to the government of Bolivia. And what has been decided is that extra money that is going to come because of the exportation of gas to Brazil and Argentina, 80% of that income is going to allocate it in education and health. So it's a political will. At the end, it's only a political will. The real intention to do something for the children. And we are doing that, and we are going to reach the objective that every child in Bolivia is going to have a primary education, and then is going to go further to the secondary education, and then to the university in the level of academic education. So in that simple example is the way that most governments are doing it in their own capacity, in the resources that can have, how the assistance can come for international, for big, rich countries, and how can the United States, the United Nations system could work about it. And I think that the UNDP, programs of food alimentation, programs of UNICEF itself, are going to contribute to the governments in order to provide the assistance, that could lead that the expenditure of the resources that we have are really reach the persons and the necessities of the poorest population in the countries.
Thank you very much. Let's go back to Roger Williams, which is now online for 2 questions from that end.
Good morning. This is Roger Williams. We are very interested in hearing a little bit more about the Convention on Rights of the Children and the U.S.'s reservations about the Convention, and why is it that so many other countries have been willing to sign when the U.S. has not. If you could please explore this, that would be great. We apologize for joining the conference late. There have been some technical difficulties. So we'd just like to ask this one question, if that's okay. Thank you.
Let me take it because Ambassador Loayza-Barea is slightly reticent to take it on, and I do not have the same reservations as he has. The reason basically is that the United States feels that its own system is so good that it does not have to sign on to international treaties at all, even though it sat in the negotiation for those international treaties, it negotiated the texts, it did everything during the negotiation, but when it comes to the time for the signature, at that point it says, no thank you, sorry, wrong number. Now, this is a pattern in the United States, and it's a very comprehensive pattern. I'm going to give you the list of treaties which the United States has negotiated but not signed or not ratified at the last minute. In the field of nuclear weaponry, you have the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty, negotiated but not signed and ratified. In the field of climate change, you have the Kyoto Convention, negotiated but not signed or ratified. In the field of the law of the sea, this is a negotiation which took us 10 years. The United States participated throughout, helped in the drafting, has not signed and ratified the law of the sea. In the case of labor conventions, there are 185 labor conventions which define different types of crimes: child labor, hazardous conditions, sweatshops, dangerous factories, etc. 185 conventions. The United States has signed and ratified only 14 out of 185. you have finally and surprisingly the Convention for the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women. The United States is a lead country in defending the rights of women, but it has not signed the Convention for the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, and of course the rights of the child. So you see, it adds up to a very large list, and it's a comprehensive list because it covers a wide range of problems. And lastly, now, the International Criminal Court, which is a very important treaty, United States has not signed and ratified, or ratified. And so this is the question really. I can only tell you what is my understanding. But the answer to this question has to come from you, because you are the United States. Each one of you is the United States. And you have to tell us, why is it that you feel that multilaterally negotiated treaties, which are, we all sit around a table and we discuss and we finalize a text, and at the last minute you don't sign on? Why is it that you think you should not sign on? Because after all, what is agreed to in a multilateral framework represents the truth, the concentrated truth of a negotiation with the full participation of the United States. I hope I've answered your question at least partially and thrown the ball back into your court. Is there a follow-up from Roger Williams to this or not?
No, we don't have a follow-up at this time. Thank you so much for sharing your perspective. Thank you.
Okay, let's shift to TNEC for two questions from TNEC.
Hello and thank you. My name is Marie Battaglino. I'm a mother, one of the few that are probably in conference at this point. My question is toward your optional protocol to the Convention concerning the sale of children, child prostitution, and pornography. Pornography is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Most of the pornography is now coming out of the Soviet bloc. It is now coming out of Eastern Europe and a good deal now out of Africa. What, if anything, are you doing to eliminate this type of exploitation? Indeed, it is a labor issue. Indeed, it does take a serious capacity to eliminate this. To make this an optional protocol, I think upon the United Nations, it is absolutely unconscionable that you would even make this optional. I'd like to know what your view on this is and what you, as UNICEF, are doing about this. That is the first question.
First, and then I will come in also.
Okay. I wish I could have the answer that could fulfill your expectations, Madam. As I remark, UNICEF, the labor UNICEF, is just to provide assistance to countries in order to that local leaders, national leaders, civil society as a whole could be aware of the reality of this situation, of the things that you mentioned. That is UNICEF doing well because, as far as I know, UNICEF has provided assistance in order that legal framework could be taken in account in the national laws, so to face and combat and these tragedies. Well, that's the word I can use. Tragedies. It's an organized crime. It's an organized crime, and the